Welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots radio show with your hosts, Johnny and Chuck. I will now turn it over to Johnny. Go ahead, Johnny.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing tonight? We have a very interesting show tonight. We do have a uh, situation that we are going to discuss on the Obama administration, several things, and we will have discussions, but we're going to cover some other world news first to bring it first to you, probably because a lot of this does not hit the mainstream radio. So we're going to give you what we can, ladies and gentlemen, and we hope you enjoy the show. I'd like to introduce you to Chuck, who's our commentator, and he will take her from here. Go ahead, Chuck.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. And as said, we do have a pretty show lined up for you tonight. Now, this is today. If you are and you've been kind of paying attention and you've been counting. Interestingly enough and oddly enough, today, since Q went dark, now a lot of stuff has happened during those 19 days, which we have discussed on other. This is day 19 since he went dark, and I'm sure I find that very interesting because before the longest time he went dark was 10 days, and this is 19. I would suggest something must be going on. Well, we've got some news topics here that we're going to talk about. We're going to bring you up to date on some of this stuff. You're going to find rather interesting, to say the least. And we will get to the couple of things on Barack Obama that was promised that we would bring to you. Here, first of all, this morning, President Trump, a very interesting tweet. As a matter of fact, he tweeted to the nation of Iran, to the leadership in Iran. It's fascinating. Kind of people that you find on Twitter, evidently. But the president tweeted to Iran and he said, "Never, ever threaten the United States again for the consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. Longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious." Now, those were President Trump's words to the nation of Iran, to the leadership in Iran. Now, what's interesting is that sometime after the president tweeted that to Iran, everybody listening to this show is familiar with David Hogg. This is the guy that after the Parkland shooting in Florida, and at first indicated that he was there when it happened. He was a witness and all this, that, and the other. Well, then it later came out that that he jumped on his bike with a camera and rode there. This kid's actually in his early 20s, so there's no way he would have been there. David Hogg has been rather boisterous and mouthy and saying a whole lot of stuff that he shouldn't. Not long after the president tweeted took it upon himself to retweet that same tweet, but what he did was to President Trump, he said to U.S. President Trump and quoted right back at him, which basically, for all intents and purposes, constitutes a threat to the president. I don't know if this kid actually understands what he's doing, but I got a feeling that that's going to get him a knock on the door from the Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security, somebody real soon, and it should. As far as I'm concerned, this kid should get his rear end handed to him one time real good, and maybe that would. As we continue, this next article that I want to share with you is on Dallas.com, and with Mr. Trey Gowdy and the kind of bulldog that he's been in some of these. He said he sits on it when he questions people. We all saw, I'm sure most of us or all of us saw the he had the other day with Peter Strzok. Him and Strzok went about 15 rounds, and personally, I think Trey won. But anyway, the article says, and the article is game changer. And this was posted, by the way, this was posted today, folks, 7/23/2018. Gowdy just sent Donald Trump a message that'll have him cheering like crazy. Last week has been focused mainly on the James Comey getting removed situation. In other words, Peter Strzok, the whole thing. Okay. Criticisms to praises, we heard it all, but the question that every American themselves ask themselves is who will replace James Comey. Only minutes after Comey's firing, the hunt head of the FBI began. Today we received news. American patriot jumping for joy. According to Liberty Writers, as well as Fitz News, Trey Gowdy has officially confirmed that he will enter the race director position. So this would probably actually will replace Ray. Okay. According to them, President Trump made the call to Gowdy asking him if he wishes to become the new head of the FBI. To that, Gowdy responded positively. He is in. Changer. Fox News reported, after check out what they had to say about this down below. Says Gowdy's officially on the list. Back to reality for a second. This is obviously the job offer itself, but it is a step closer to having a well-taught American patriot. There's one thing I'm sure about Gowdy. He's more than qualified to be the next FBI director. He is the kind of person we need in office. He's not afraid to seek out the truth without being caught up in the political mind games. It's that the fourth-term congressman is extremely skilled to lead the FBI. I really hope he gets elected. So, again, that was posted today. So, it's down on the list for director if Ray didn't work out, and he's not working out too well at the moment. Now, here's another one. This article is also from Breaking News Dallas. Been very interesting. It says report, and this was posted yesterday. July 22nd, 2018. Report: hundreds of sealed indictments await high-ranking Democrats with new Trump EO. Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are about to learn that when you take a shot at Donald Trump, you had better not miss. Now, I found that statement kind of interesting. Hits back harder. Trump has bided his time waiting for the political winds to shift, and now it is about to hit the fan. First indication that President Trump was prepared to strike back, leading Washington's corrupt cabal, came last Thursday when he issued executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. We are correct. This is gambit in draining the swamp that will result in the devastation of what still remains at the highest levels of the Democratic Party, as well as Washington's major lobbying organization, major establishment Republicans, the real reason behind the civil war going on inside the GOP. The president's EO relies on applying established federal law and reads specifically to address the Clintons' corrupt misappropriation of state assets to her personal gain. Person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, to have materially assisted, sponsored, or provided financial, material, or technological support for or goods or to or in support of any activity described in subsections, and it gives all the subsections and everything. This section that is conducted by a foreign person, any person and interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order, or any entity, including any government entity that has engaged in or whose members have engaged in any activities described in the following subsections of this section, where they is conducted by a foreign person. Okay. Okay. To be owned or controlled or by or to have acted ordered to act for or on behalf of, directly or indirectly, any person whose property and interest in property are blocked pursuant to this order. So the president has signed an executive order to block or to cut off or to seize property by these people. The sealed indictments these people. So that came out yesterday. And
before you go on, I want to say something on this. Now, these indictments, they're going after congressmen, senators, people that were back in the Hillary Clinton, the Democrats that all took illegal payments for whatever being paid under the table. That's what these indictments are for, and they are going after them. I know that America has been waiting to hear this, and you keep saying, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, that might be an attitude you got about it, but Trump has been putting this together ever since he's been in, and now all of a sudden everything's coming together. And so all I can say is grab your popcorn and sit back and watch. We're not going to see a lot of stuff that that's going on. We're not going to see a lot of the stuff getting ignored anymore. Trump is going after them, and he's got I'm buying 199.9%, as I know that every patriot is. And I think that when this happens, there's going to be a lot of unrest. So if this happens, sit back, wait until you are actually called to do something, because we will be called if it gets out of hand. But you're going to see things go on that we've been wanting to see. And personally, I can't wait. This is the change we've been looking for. That's why we brought Trump into office. And that is why Trump is where he's at today, is because he's outsmarted him in every move that he's made.
All right. Okay. All right. Now, okay. Or I guess this was may have been last night. A mass shooting, but this time, interestingly enough, it was in Toronto, Canada. And to begin with, when this thing happened for some time there, it was Sunday night at 10 p.m. Police responded to calls of an active shooting in the Danforth Avenue, Logan Avenue area there in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Time until just a couple hours or so ago. Refusing to identify the shooter or talk about his motive or whatever. I guess they took a lot of heat over that because they just a little bit ago report Toronto mass shooter identifies as Faisal Hussein. Okay, Toronto's SIU division an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 29-year-old in Toronto. After speaking with a member of the deceased immediate family representative, SIU was able to confirm the man's identity due to the exceptional circumstances of this tragic event. To knowing the man's identity, the SIU said it is identifying the man as Faisal Hussein of Toronto. On Sunday night, Toronto police responded to calls of an active shooter in the Danforth Logan Avenue area. 14 victims total were shot. 2 of the 14 victims died, as well as the suspect. The deceased are identified as Reese Fallon, 18, and an unidentified 10-year-old girl. It is unclear if he was killed by police or took his own life. Now, the reason I saw it posted on earlier that it's believed the reason that the would not identify a while and wouldn't talk about his motive is because this guy was a jihadist. I've also seen that his family members, his parents or whatever, now, and this guy had mental problems, and where have we heard that before?
Hey, Chuck, you keep breaking up on us. I don't know if it's your mic or what it is.
Well, I shouldn't be breaking up. I put myself on voice activated so I could go to these articles and read them.
Okay.
All right. Also, we have this. Newly released documents contradict Strzok's sworn claims that he had nothing to do with Carter Page FISA warrant. Okay, basically they have released a copy of the FISA applications where they sought the warrants to eavesdrop on President Trump, candidate Trump, and that FISA document, although it too is redacted, but it agrees with the 100-page or however many page it was IG report that was received by. I mean, it says here on Saturday, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton announced documents related to the FISA warrants on Trump's former campaign advisor Carter Page were released by the FBI. Judicial Watch headquarters. Obama's deep state FBI and DOJ obtained a FISA warrant on October 2016 and 3 subsequent renewals in order to spy on Trump's campaign and transition team. Comey, Rosenstein, McCabe, and Sally Yates all signed FISA application. Hillary's fraudulent Russia dossier was used as a pretext warrants. Fitton said Saturday even Judicial Watch received the requested documents, even though they were heavily redacted. They confirmed that the FBI and DOJ misled the courts. So you have that article that I have from the Washington Examiner that goes along with that. Says weekend release of the highly redacted version of the FBI's application for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant to wiretap one-time Trump foreign policy advisor Carter Page has renewed the argument. The Nunes memo, the brief by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Representative Devin Nunes detailing problems in the application. From the time of the memo's release in February, Democrats and some in the press have denounced it, lies and mischaracterizations. On Saturday night, the denouncing started again. The only thing the newly released FISA documents show is that Republicans have been lying for months. The lefty think tank Center for American Progress said. Now, however, we have both the memo application. If in a blackened out state, we can compare the two, and doing so shows the memo was overwhelmingly accurate. Perhaps some Democrats do not believe it should have been written, or they dispute what it included and left out, agree with its conclusions, but it was in fact accurate. The memo comprised a short introduction followed by 13 substantive paragraphs, each one, and then it gives a reading of Nunes's document. Okay, so we got more stuff coming out that was improve some other stuff that's going on. All right, now Senator Rand Paul tweeted this earlier today. Said, "I will meet with the president and will ask him to revoke John Brennan's clearance." Well, it wasn't just John Brennan's security clearance. There are a number of other people on the list. McCabe is one of them. A number of other people on the list that they're looking into revoking their security clearances which should have been done some time ago. Another thing that we want to report on to you, going around for a few days now, that Mueller was planning on giving to a number of witnesses to testify against Paul Manafort, who was a former Trump campaign chairman. And some were concerned that the Podestas might wind up on that list of those getting, or that. But here are it says, the article says, identities of 5 witnesses immunized to testify against Manafort. They were given, or to be given, immunity. A federal judge Monday unsealed the names of 5 witnesses granted immunity by special counsel Robert Mueller at the upcoming trial of former Paul Manafort. The witnesses who Mueller's team had sought to keep from public view until they were to testify are people. James Brennan, well, we all know who he is. Duggan, Connor O'Brien, Cindy Laporta, Rico. So the Podestas weren't on the list. Okay. Documents do not provide details about what the witnesses may be expected to testify about. None of the newly revealed witnesses have figured prominently in the case to this point. A person named Rico was previously affiliated with Federal Savings Bank, a small Chicago bank that provided Manafort with $16 million in loans shortly after Manafort left the Trump campaign. SB founder Steve Talk served as an economic advisor to the Trump campaign. Mueller is investigating whether Manafort promised to secure Kalk and administration position in exchange for the loans. Identified as Jay Brennan was allegedly included in several email chains that Mueller team submit for the trial. According to their exhibit, Brennan was allegedly included on chains with Rico and Laporta terms and a loan agreement. Anyway, those are the people that are on the list to be given immunity. James Brennan, Connor O'Brien, Cindy Laporta, and Dennis Rico. So we can take a breath because the Podestas or none of the big names were on there. And let's see. Okay, we have a report. I got a couple more things. I got one more thing here to report, and then we're going to get to the big stuff on Obama. He posted about that we were going to talk about. So I got one more thing to report here, and we will be getting to that. This is also, if I can get the pop-ups to quit popping up here. There we go. All right, it says, has something to do with what's going down on the border. So people listening here that will find this interesting. Texas Border Patrol, 4 Muslim men from Bangladesh illegally entering the U.S. It is becoming a frightening and common occurrence. 4 Muslim men were caught illegally crossing into the United States Friday. Border Patrol agents arrested the 4 Muslim men who they say are from Bangladesh. Were apprehended near the Fort Brown Golf Course in Brownsville, Texas. to the Border Patrol agents, they discovered the men were Muslim when they questioned them in Spanish. Didn't understand. After inspecting their belongings, the agents learned the men were from Bangladesh, a Muslim majority country. Debate surrounding illegal immigration on the southern U.S. border has been focused on invaders from Mexico and Central and South America. However, what many people fail to realize, illegal immigrants from all around the world, especially the Middle East, use the southern border to enter the United States. In January of 2017, the Texas Public Safety released a report that outlined their concerns about ISIS terrorists illegally crossing into the United States through the U.S.-Mexico border. The report noted that since 2012, at least 13 terrorists have attempted to cross Mexico through the border. According to a report released in April of 2018, the border in Texas has become the #1 point of entry for illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. The third largest Muslim country by population, Bangladesh is known for being a hotbed for Islamic terrorism. In 2017, Border Patrol agents in Laredo, Texas, apprehended the Bangladeshi nationals. Okay. Prepare to vote in the 2018 midterms, Democrats are advocating to abolish ICE as part of their party platform. The implications of abolishing ICE will be extremely negative for the American people. Claim that ICE is inhuman, but what they have failed to recognize is the importance of strong border security and the plethora of ICE agents to ensure illegal immigrants and terrorists who cross into the United States illegally are quickly apprehended, harm innocent, law-abiding American citizens. There's a report from our southern border on 4 Muslim men, Bangladesh, illegally entering the U.S., and I know the United Constitutional Patriots have units down there, I believe, down there on the Texas border right now. We'll be able at some point to find out more from our people down there about that situation. Okay, now.
Okay, just a second. One something I want to say, Chuck. Now, I've been boots on the ground on the border myself with the Patriot groups down there. And we have also on the New Mexico border, the Arizona border, and the California border. I was down there when some of this took place not long ago, but we do have our people who they have been, it's got into almost a shooting war. In some places it is a shooting war, but ISIS has been coming across the border. We have from different countries, all kinds of people coming across the border, but some of these guys are walking for days to get to the border, and they're coming across illegal and they're armed. And they have one objective right now. If they can get into this country, then they can supply their people. And it's dangerous down there. The border ops of Alabama, we have them over on the Arizona border right now. We've got, I have 200 of my own men on the borders down between Texas and New Mexico. And it's not pretty down there. They are arresting people right and left. They're coming across, and it's not so they can have the freedoms that offers this country. They are Muslims. They are people that Trump is trying to protect us from. They got if they can get into this country, that gives them more strength. And that's why this border ops and the border patrol is so important, and ICE. We need to get that wall built. because it will stop most of it. It won't stop all of it. They'll find ways over it, but it'll stop, I'd say, 90% of it. So this country a little bit more safe. Go ahead, Chuck.
All right, now for the big Obama news. Just a short time ago, Obama was in for some big celebration. I'm trying to think that Nelson Mandela's memory, I guess it was, and he was over there for that. You know, YouTube ran the thing all day long one day, just a few days ago. But while he was there, and whether it was inadvertent or not, out and admitted the first president. Yeah. So he actually admitted from Kenya that he is not an American citizen. Now, to that, we have something else that we're going to reread an article.
Okay, Chuck, just hang on just a second. Folks, for those of you that want to get the news that we get, and because there's a whole lot more than what we can cover, we do have our radio room where we can send you invites. You can come in also and read everything we are telling you. Now, everything in here is vetted. We don't put any fake news up whatsoever. It may not always be what everybody wants to hear, and it may not meet everybody's agenda. But this is news that the mainstream will not cover. And we can put a link up if you want to get into our radio room, and you can read everything that's in here. Now, we're not in here most of the time. We're in another room. But this is information and more news than what we can cover. We've got hundreds of reports of different situations, all pertaining to a lot of this, that I welcome you if you will, if I can get Gamer or someone to go ahead and put our newsroom in, post it. All you got to do is click on it and join into the newsroom. You can get this 7 days a week when we're not on the air. We're on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. So go ahead, Chuck. I apologize before you start in on that, but I just wanted to let them know that all this news is available where they can read it and see the videos and stuff themselves.
Right. Yes, sir. That. Pete, our tech guy that runs the show, he could go ahead and put the link to the radio room in the description on the live stream, or in the chat on the live stream, and that would work just fine. Yes. Okay. We spoke moments ago about the speech that Obama made, where he finally admitted that he's not an American citizen, that he's the first from Kenya. All right. To that, we're going to cover article that we've covered a time or two before. Requested that we read this again. This article was posted 27th, so it has, and we've talked about it a couple of times. And it says Delta Force on standby in Obama. Delta Force operators have received presidential standby orders for a mission to apprehend disgraced former President Barack Hussein Obama, said a high-ranking House White House insider speaking anonymity. According to our source, President Trump, Special Operations Command, after returning home from his recent trip to Singapore, and requested a Delta detachment be made ready to nab and grab Obama opportunity. Trump chose Delta Force agents' expertise and past successes, which included last year's raid on an Obama-controlled Thailand. Trump did not want to use IA because many agency officials remain loyal to criminal Obama, and Delta was the natural choice. The earliest opportunity, however, might not be immediately. Painstakingly crafted plan guarantees that Obama, once captured, remains imprisoned without the possibility of parole for natural life. A sealed indictment sits on Trump's desk against the president include treason, American people, conspiring with the enemy, financial aid to terrorists, violations, intelligence surveillance, and computer and abuse acts that were codified by the Patriot Act. Criticized Trump for not repealing the Patriot Act should think twice, our source said, for Trump is using the act to indict the very who once supported it, including Obama and eventually his co-conspirator, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Known about the plans against Clinton, the plan to incarcerate Obama has some interesting caveats. We quote our source. Detention will not take place on American soil, our source said. He's too well protected here. He has many allies and spies. The president's team decided better to enact this operation during one of Obama's many overseas trips. It reduces the probability of his political or media allies catching wind of the plan and warning him off. Street operation. Obama has publicly, plans 4 overseas trips in the next 6 months. In July, United Kingdom, he will visit United Kingdom billionaire Robert Miller to solicit funds for the Obama Foundation. In August, Obama is scheduled to meet another financial benefactor, French pharmaceutical mogul Moreau. He has also scheduled an October visit, Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad, a December sojourn to see Angela Merkel in Uckermark, Germany. Force contingent from Fort Bragg. Force contingent from Fort Bragg, our source said, stands ready to intercept Obama at any of the aforementioned locations as soon as Trump greenlights the mission. Delta is ready to intercede at a moment's notice. A rapid deployment force can be anywhere in the world. Hours. I don't know which spot Trump will choose to act upon, but he has choices. Delta will handle Obama's Secret Service detail. Our source said agents would be given to either get with the program or face the consequences. Trump withheld operational details from Secret Service to prevent renegade agents from tipping off Obama, he said. Even more interesting, our source said Obama would not be jailed on American soil. They struck a deal with a nameless leader of a foreign nation to construct an impenetrable, escape-proof prison with security that eclipses current supermax penitentiaries. Does not consider Obama an American citizen and therefore wants to ensure foot upon this nation's ground. Once Delta grabs Obama away, never to be heard from again. Sure, people will wonder where he is. Ultimately, Obama will become a historic footnote, and media mention of his inexplicable disappearance will slowly fade away in favor of some, or what the Kardashians are doing, or some other utterly irrelevant news. We have Delta Force being given standby orders to arrest Barack Obama. One final story I'm going to cover, and then I'm going to turn this back over to, and that is we have an article here, and it's not a very friendly article to us, to say the least. If I can get this to. I may not let me read the full article here. Click on read the full article. But FBI agent that is going to go on trial for lying about the deadly shooting in the Bundy standoff. Trial to focus on the death of Robert Lavoy Finicum, a rancher who was killed in the north. Okay, a rancher who was killed by police in 2016. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to refresh this.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to hit on a couple of things. Okay, Chuck. One of the things I want to hit on. A lot of people say, "Well, why is this hitting the internet?" It didn't hit internet. The only posts that we have got so far, and I didn't see it on internet except for what I did post on internet. But a lot of people say, "Well, I'll believe it when I see it." Well, again, Trump has ways of doing things, and we've all been waiting for something like this. And I agree. It's hard to believe. Some people say, well, it's not going to happen. I've had other people say it was fake news. This, folks, has been vetted. We get a lot of our information, I'm not going to say who from, out of there, about Washington, D.C. And we have people that are actually part of our staff that's works directly for Trump. And our information we get is true, or we will not vet it. But however, I will say this. This is a game changer for what Obama has been doing, and there will be some justice. Now, he's not the only one that they got warrants for. They also have, they're getting ready to come out big time on the Clintons, Soros. One of the things they did do, that Trump did do, Trump has already stopped, and it is in another segment of this that Chuck just went through. He has already taken Obama's money. He's already got the Clintons pretty much tied up. So to the point now where we had to have a report on this, where they're flying commercial because they said they can't afford to fly in their own jets now. So, you know, he is hitting on them. Also, too, Trump has stopped any further pay off of Obama's, I guess, what the money they're supposed to get for the rest of their life once they've been a president. But anyway, all of that has been stopped. And he said that Obama will pay back every dime he stole from the American people. And he's going through Soros's money that they have froze up to take the money back to the American people. And this is all vetted and proven. So anyway, go ahead, Chuck.
Just to finish up here, I was talking about this article on an FBI agent goes on trial for lying about deadly shooting in Bundy standoff. Trial to focus on the death of Robert Lavoy Finicum, a rancher who was killed by police in 2016. Prosecutors who have squared off against the group, and I'm really not going to read much of this article because it's not friendly to us. We're called, these people were called a group of anti-government ranchers, and so it's the same old tripe. But basically, this FBI agent that is going on trial lied to authorities. Never fired, in the shooting of Lavoy Finicum, never fired his weapon. And he fired it. It turns out he fired it at least twice. I think Lavoy was said 8, 9 times or something like that. But this particular, we have an FBI agent now that's going on trial for this thing, and really good to see. So we have covered quite a bit of news for you, and that just went over for you and covered for you. And that's about all that I have for this evening, and so I'm going to turn the show back over to the commander of the United Constitutional Patriots for anything else that he may have or that he may want to do. So, Johnny, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. One other thing I wanted to cover, and I was really happy to see it, of the Bundys. I can't remember his name. Anyway, his one son is running for governor that just got his pardon from President Trump. He's going to run for governor of Nevada. And I wish him all the luck in the world. Some of us personally know him from being boots on the ground there, and he's a good man. So anything else, we will keep you informed as much as we can on our news. And when we're not on the air, like I said, all you got to do is come over to our newsroom and you can read the news 24/7 around the clock. And I appreciate you for being here. And God bless our president. God bless you folks, and God bless America. Have a great evening, and we hope you catch us again Wednesday, same time, same place, same station. Have a good evening. God bless.